Good morning. My name is Lauren Riffenberg, and my purpose here today is to inform individuals of the severe poverty levels in Detroit. So, as I head out of my door in the morning and drive down McNichols to University of Detroit Mercy, I am coming from a neighborhood where the median income is just under $200,000 a year, and I'm quickly reminded of the severe poverty levels in Detroit and just how economically disadvantaged the city has become. So most mornings I'm greeted at the Detroit border by a handful of homeless people panhandling rush hour traffic, and liquor stores start becoming more frequent the closer I get to Detroit. So a city like Detroit is present in every single state, and if you're anything like me, is only a 10-minute drive from my extremely safe upper middle class city. The realization that a city cut off is the difference between a life of prosperity and opportunity and a life of crime and struggle is pretty astonishing to me. So first and foremost, I have to explain just how things got this way before I can accurately and appropriately explain to you the struggles in modern day Detroit. So the beginning of the end of Detroit kind of occurs in the 1950s when people started branching out in search of better jobs. The crash of the automobile industry crushed the city economically, and a corrupt police department politically ruined the city. So between the infamous police riots of the late 1960s and the city's wealth leaving in droves, there were bound to be serious economic ruin that extended for decades. So Detroit riots took place over a 5-day period, taking 43 lives and ruining thousands of buildings, which severely impact tourism and set the tone for a severely impoverished, unsafe city. So many people no longer felt safe or comfortable living or visiting Detroit, so they either moved or refused to go. So losing tourism was a huge part of Detroit's economy, especially in the 1950s, because like many other major cities such as Chicago and New York City, Detroit was a massive stomping ground for immigration. So like my family, they immigrated to Detroit, and many of my friends' family immigrated to Detroit as well. So many of those immigrants left behind a large majority of their families and friends who would come regularly for visits. And without that constant tourism and that constant economic boom, Detroit suffered and lost a huge portion of its revenue. So over the next 40 years, Detroit suffered extreme economic hardship and social decline, with many people leaving or devoting their life to crime or becoming another victim of the relentless alcohol and drug addictions in most major cities. So according to the National Survey on Drug Use and Health, out of roughly 650,000 people living within Detroit borders, over 18% of those individuals currently suffer from a drug or alcohol abuse addiction or are recovering addicts. So the early 2000s were no better to Detroit than the last 40 years were. So the recession of the early 2000s caused extreme economic hardship throughout the United States, but Detroit was absolutely unable to recover from those hardships. So businesses were forced to close. Many people in Detroit lost their jobs, especially in whatever was left of the automotive industry in Detroit. And the already impoverished individuals living in Detroit had to exhaust all of their savings and pretty much forfeit any chance of ever getting out of the city. The revelation caused many of the individuals of Detroit to become trapped due to financial hardship, and this also correlates to mental health and drug abuse. So many of the people that felt trapped often correlated their feelings into mental health issues and severe addiction. So what's left of Detroit today is pretty grim outside of downtown limits. The people left in Detroit have either never had the financial security to leave or are tied in crime relating to Detroit's biggest issue is gang violence. So according to the New York Times, 29 to 30% of Detroit's population is unemployed, and of that 30%, 15 are on a government assistance program that just barely covers necessities such as housing, food, and utilities. So Detroit has become extremely disadvantaged and dangerous, and it hits home for me because it is so close to where I live and it surrounds the university I go to. So the once prosperous automotive city that provided excessive opportunities, job security, and safety has taken an extreme hit to its economy and offers little to no room for opportunity for the people still living in its confines.